I've just got a few questions for you, Martin, if I can. So you became Managing Director of FirstPort in 2024. So what changes have you implemented at the company since you've been in post?
So thank you, if I may first, Chair, thank you and committee for the opportunity of speaking here today. So it's been a busy 12 to 14 months. I joined last January and I'd been away from the industry for a while, for a couple of years, and certainly coming back and taking over the reins of FirstPort, there were obviously a number of areas that we as FirstPort need to get better at. As an industry, it obviously become very complex in the years that I'd been away, and there are a number of changes that we had to put in place that made us fit for purpose in regards to the regulation that's coming down the train that we've discussed today. If I may, first of all, I'm absolutely pro the regulation that is coming down for our industry. We were not involved, but we're certainly fully aware of Lord Best's work, which is excellent, in 2018, and we supported it then, and I do now. I think regulation is key. We've had a number of...
Sorry, can I interrupt you there? I don't want waffle. I just want to know what you've implemented since you've been in charge of the company to make FirstPort better, please.
To make FirstPort better, in order to meet the regulation that's coming, one of the first things I did was regionalise the business. So we're now into 4 separate regions with operations directors that run each of those regions. We've completely reviewed our communication and complaints process that is now in place. We are looking at, as mentioned a number of times today, qualifications and training is absolutely vital. I couldn't agree more that we have to, in this complex environment, and much of the discussion today is about how complex it is, we have to have the right people with the right qualifications doing it. And so for that, we've been working with TPI. What I've asked for is our entire company goes through at least TPI level 2 and then beyond, depending on the complexity that they work on. And I'm pleased that at the moment we've got over 1,000 individuals that have gone through that, and more are being pushed into levels 3, 4 and beyond. So many of the changes we and I have put in place are about ensuring the professionalisation of the business. That's the direction of travel for us as an industry, and I completely agree with that. We are the largest, and I know that's been mentioned a number of times, but we still only represent 5.8% of this entire industry. So there are many other property management agents out there, and we are able, due to our size and capability, to put in place many of the training needs, the qualification requirements, communication with our customers, transparency. We've also included My Home, which is a new online portal. Much of what we're talking about today is about communication, understanding. Residents who are in their homes need to understand what they're paying for and getting that transparency. So My Home I launched last year. It's not even a year old as yet, but we have about 50-60% of our customers are now on My Home. We have 10,000 unique visits every single day where documentation can be downloaded. People can actually look at their development. We can communicate with them directly. And that, of course, all helps much of what the conversation has been driven around today, understanding, transparency and communication with residents.
Just on communication, are you happy with where it is now in the company then with residents?
So it's a lot better than it was. We're communicating with our residents.
Are you measuring the fact that you're saying it's a lot better, Martin?
Yeah.
What's the
so we are.
metrics?
We've got a number of KPIs, as you'd expect, throughout the business. And those KPIs are from our pick-up rates from the phone, our first-time resolution. I'm pleased that that complaints into the business in the last 12 months has reduced by 48%. We've onshored our call centre, so we can then have a dedicated group in the UK that are trained sufficiently to answer that call and then resolve often what are complex questions. So we measure as much as we possibly can. I track them, I wouldn't say daily, but pretty much daily. I want to see those results coming through, and I want to know that our complaint rate, which stands at the moment today 1.3 in every 1,000 customers that we have, which is about half the actual industry average. So
are your
that
complaints
doesn't
reducing, Martin, to 48%? Good figure. Would you say that's because probably your residents have stopped complaining and they're complaining to us as parliamentarians?
So I think the MP work that, obviously I've been to Parliament a number of times in the last 6 to 7 months, and quite honestly that's helped the process for FirstPort. As Managing Director of FirstPort, as you, Mr. Coggan mentioned, I came in 12 months ago, and actually meeting the MPs, hearing the feedback that we've had from each of the different regions that those MPs represent has been extremely useful, and we have completely lent into that. I've met over 170 MPs in Parliament in the last 8 months, and on the ground, talking to residents with the MP on a one-to-one basis, over 70 of those meetings. So we're not shying away from communicating with our residents. I'm certainly not shying away from the challenges that the industry has and FirstPort is part of. And I certainly want to ensure that what we put in place and what I am designing through FirstPort improves the whole of this industry, as well as obviously FirstPort's performance.